Hey there everyone. So today we're working on an N64 with a sticky reset button right here. This guy's stuck down and doesn't want to come back up. So I'm going to show you what you need to do to fix that. So you're going to need a game bit, the large game bit, the one that you use for N64 and Super Nintendo. There's lots of bits on the bottom. Each screw you need to take off. These aren't really found in many hardware stores or anything like that. I know that there's Fry's Electronics that sells, they at least sell the fix-it screwdriver that has game bits with it. I don't think they sell the actual screwdriver on its own, but you won't find it like at Home Depot or anything like that. I think online you could find them between like $5 and $10 maybe. You want to make sure you have the bigger one. I don't remember the size of it, but the smaller one opens up games, so you're going to need to have the bigger one. First we'll start off with these corner pieces here. And take that off with the screw that's on the inside. And you're going to want to do that with the other one as well. Now, a lot of the time I find N64s to be severely grubby, and that could be why this reset button is stuck down. Most likely from like food and whatnot, people just not being careful, and food getting stuck in there and whatnot, from mashing down the reset button. Now, this screwdriver in particular does not have a magnetic edge, and it doesn't want to bring up the game bit screws, so we'll kind of just dump those out on the desk here real carefully. Then you're gonna want to take out the RAM pack, or this is the booster RAM, rather. You need to take this out before you take the shell off. Ooh, yeah, this buddy is stuck together real good. It's gonna need a thorough cleaning. And I find that most of the ones that are severely grubby like this, they deserve to be cleaned once they're taken apart. It's a lot easier to clean it when it's fully apart. Alright. So inside here, it's got these little legs that you want to kind of push inward. And this thing is severely grubby. So yeah, looks like what is that? Is that chili? Something also maybe what we like to refer to commonly known as hand cheese. And yes, it sounds disgusting. This is also part of the reason I wear gloves, is because a lot of this stuff is disgusting when you find it. Majority of the time, not a lot of people took care of it very well. And, you know, not washing their hands or whatever can lead to hand cheese, which is like skin cells and like whatever else was on their hands, food, whatever. But anyway, you want to clean this up nice and good with a toothbrush. I've had a few people tell me, I'm surprised you don't get sick very often. You know, your immune system must be built up quite a bit from dealing with all this skin cells and whatnot with controllers and consoles. And that can be true, except, you know, I wear gloves most of the time, and I don't touch my face when I do that. So yeah, you're gonna want to make sure to clean this up nice and good. Make sure it's dry from the rubbing alcohol. And then you're gonna want to take some silicone lube. Make sure you use this stuff. This is the brand that I like to use, Super Lube. It's really good. And you're just gonna want to, you know, you don't want to use too much lube. Just enough to where it's gonna, you know, be gliding easily and resetting easily. So you just go ahead and lube up the legs nice and good. Lube up this inner part here. Go around the edge of the reset button itself. Once that's nice and lubed up, you're gonna want to do the same thing with the console here. Clean out all this yucky stuff here. And then toothbrush is your best friend. Get all that yucky mess out of there. And then you could do the same process with the power switch as well if it's really jacked up, but this one seems to be okay. And get a good old Q-tip and dry this out. Want to make sure the stuff is nice and dry before you use any of the lubricant there. And there is still a little bit of that funk in there. If it gets fairly severe, another thing I recommend is Q-tips, or toothpicks rather. You can get some of the gunk out of there, and toothpicks are one of my favorite things for controllers, because like a lot of controllers, it has the hand cheese in the cracks there, and then you can just get it right out, and it kind of comes out pretty easily, and it's grated off with a toothpick there. And yeah, it's real dusty and grimy. It's in there pretty good, but I'll clean that later. So grab another Q-tip here and lube that buddy up. And again, don't want to use like too much lube because it won't work too well if you use too much. So you're going to want to go around on the edges in here and then get in where the legs are at and everything. Just do just enough lube to where it's going to be, you know, real nice for it to reset. And then pop the reset button in. And then you just reassemble it, and this buddy works nice and good now. So now that you have that done, if it is severely filthy like this one is, I would recommend just, you know, like just going everywhere with the rubbing alcohol and getting in between these grates and everything like that with a toothbrush. Use a toothbrush like this. I would definitely have an easier time doing this off camera, but basically kind of showing you how you would do it. And you can do that, and then also, you know, use the toothpicks if it's like really severe, you know, just kind of dig in there. And don't be afraid to use like a lot of rubbing alcohol if you need to, because it's not gonna damage anything because it's just the shell. You know, you can go pretty heavy with some rubbing alcohol like that, and it's not gonna matter as long as you dry it off before you reassemble it and play with it or whatever you plan on doing with it. If you plan on selling it or, you know, giving it to someone as a gift. When it comes to cleaning, really, toothbrush is the best thing that you can do. Use a toothbrush for almost everything for cleaning, and just get it, you know, nice and good. And make sure you have a rag too, and that way it kind of just, you know, can not be sitting there all wet and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just make sure you're keeping it all nice and good there. Oh, look at all that dirt and grime and everything gross. Anyway, you can kind of do the same thing with the inside of the console, although it's not absolutely necessary. But if you want it to be perfect, I suppose you know, you can just kind of dust it out here and clean it up a little bit. Got a fuzzball there. But if you'd like to disassemble it completely, all you need is really two different types of Phillips head screwdrivers. Most of these screws can be removed by a standard Phillips head screwdriver, and then there's these smaller buddies here that you'll need to remove as well. Reassembly and disassembly is fairly easy as long as you put everything back in place how it was. And then you can, you know, give it a bath if you'd like. And then have it ready to sell, or, you know, give away to a present, or as in your own collection, have a nice, good-looking console. Typically, if you're getting one somewhere else, it'll probably be at least this grubby. If you're going to like a like a pawn shop or you know, a little a little marketplace that sells games. They don't they don't they don't really use anything for cleaning, but so yeah, if you find that on the cheap and you can get it to work, then that's great. But make sure you clean it if you're like gonna sell it or give it to somebody or whatever. But also with the teeth, another common issue can be that the teeth are a little bit dirty. Typically, you don't want to use a really good game for it, but I would definitely grab something really cheap, and you could take this and just get some rubbing alcohol up in it. Just spray it a little bit. Make sure it's not completely dripping. But yeah, you just take it inside the console and just kind of do this a little bit. Just to kind of clean the teeth out real good. And you know, make sure this is dry before you do it. But yeah, you can do this pretty much with anything, with any console. I would recommend getting a cheap game. This is like a $10 to $12 game. It's fairly cheap, and not necessarily one that is super worth anything. But yeah, I would also recommend cleaning these with either a Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol or a cartridge cleaner. These old school ones, they last really long. But do that with all your games, just to make sure everything's working. But yeah, I would finish cleaning this up for you guys, but that's the basics there. So hopefully this helps you out in the future, and thank you for watching. Have a good night, day.